afternoon, or maybe even good evening, wherever you guys are tuning in from. So we introduced ourselves on Friday, and here we go. I'd like to welcome everybody and thank you all for tuning in to our very first GAKidsTV. As I explained on Friday, the purpose here, excuse me, is going to be doing some science and some interactive approaches for kids to learn more about plants. So kids, I hope you're watching. We're going to go through this. Pretty carefully, and as always, please send us your questions. On Friday, we are going to answer as many questions as we can. So please get those questions into us. We really look forward to what you guys have to say. So let's start. What are plants? What are plants? Well, let's open this. Plants are a living organism of the kind exemplified by trees, shrubs, herbs, grasses, ferns, and mosses, typically growing in a permanent site, absorbing water and inorganic substances through its roots, and synthesizing nutrients in its leaves by photosynthesis using the green pigment chlorophyll. Could that literally have been any more boring? What a plant is a living organism that is made up of three essential parts: leaves, stem, roots. And for the most part, they all grow in earth. Even in this little pot, you can see, we're not going to show you the roots, but it's growing in the soil, leaves, and you can see the stems. So that's what a plant is. Now, what does each part do? Let's have a look at that. So, we're going to start with leaves. Everybody knows about leaves, and we have one of our upcoming subjects is going to be all about leaves and the differences in them. So we're going to go pretty light here, but what exactly is a leaf? So there's our tree canopy, and it's made up of individual leaves filled with veins like that. So what exactly do the leaves do? Why are they needed? Well, primarily, the leaves have two major important functions. The first one is to catch the sunlight, absorb it into the plant, undergo that process our boring book mentioned called photosynthesis, and it turns the sunlight into sugar. The second one, and you can't see it, but all of these plants have got tiny little holes in the leaves, like the pores on our skin, and that is where they exchange gases. So they exchange the gases, they breathe in carbon dioxide, they breathe out oxygen. So that's the primary purpose of a leaf. The next part that we have, that we're going to talk about, now this plant is what we call multi-stem, but for our purpose here, we're using a tree, and that's the stem, also known as the trunk. The purpose of that, first and foremost, is to give stability to the leaves. So, as you can see, this holds it up, and we've got the leaves on top. Same here, the leaves are coming up, but you can see, primarily, the leaves are on top. So, it's a little handy-dandy plant. All plants are very different, we're going to get to that, but they all have the same functions. So, what exactly does the stem do? Well, the stem keeps a plant nice and rigid and structurally sound, but that, much like in our bodies, is where all the important organs are. There's a huge network in here of essentially veins, and that's going to transport sugar and water around the plant to where it's needed the most. And that's essentially what this does. It's much like the trunk of our body. Now, the next part, I gotta find a good color. How about orange for roots? Orange is a good color for roots, I think. So, root system. Here's our roots. And there's two types of root system. A fibrous root system, that's like that, and a taproot system, which is one solid root goes straight down. Again, we're going to have a whole class later discussing about roots, what they do. We're going to show you guys actual roots from some plants, might even chop one up. So we're not going to go too far into that. But what is the purpose of these roots, either fibrous or taproot? The main purpose of the roots are to anchor the plant in position and hold it where it is. Without the roots, look at that, I forgot to draw the soil it's growing in. So as you can see, the roots are under the ground. Without those roots, any kind of wind, that tree's going to fall over. You can't climb it, it's going to fall over. It would literally do you no good. So these roots are going to anchor the tree, or even this plant in this pot, into the place it needs to be, where it can get anything. The second primary purpose is that's where it drinks its water. So whether you water from a hose or whether it rains, we're going to say rainy, so there's our rain cloud, here's our rain coming down, and then the water absorbs it up. Well, when it hits these roots take it up into the tree. So essentially what the roots are doing is they're holding it in place, but they're also drinking up all of the water. They also bring up some nutrition and other things. Again, we'll go more into that when we do our class on roots. So that is the primary purpose of the three main parts of any plants. You've got your leaf, you've got your stem or your trunk, and you've got your root, which is again either a taproot or a fibrous root system. So let's move on. If you remember, the boring book and me, we both said that plants are living. So here's a question. What's the main difference between plants and animals? Well, like you can see, I hope you all love my artwork, by the way. I drew all these pictures myself. As you can see, I'm not really great at it, but I don't care. I enjoy it, and it gets the point across. So we have fun doing it. As you can see, there's many, many different types of plants. We've got a cactus, we've got a huge tree, and a little flower. They're all plants. Animals, we've got a fish, we've got a dog, and we've got a dude. That's me, except I'm not wearing my hat. So, as many different plants and animals as there are, they're all alive. So what makes them different? Well, I think the main thing that makes them different, this is going to be the technical part again, is how we get our sugars. So every living thing burns sugars for energy and to survive. Animals, we get our sugars by consuming our food. So this morning I ate a banana. Got lots of good sugar in it, very tasty, good healthy breakfast, also a plant. And my body converted that to sugar to give me energy to do this show. But plants don't do that. So again, we're going to go back to the leaves. What plants do is they absorb sunlight and they turn that into the sugars they need. So the main difference is how we absorb what we need to live. We're both living. We get our sugars from the actual foods we eat. Plants get their sugars from the sunlight. Now, the second biggest difference, and this one you can't see, just like this one, the photosynthesis, but this one's really difficult. You can see the difference between this plant and me. Maybe not, but there is a difference. The difference between our cells. And cells, every single thing is made up of cells, every single living thing, and it's hard to see. You can't see them individually. So, what makes them different? Well, there's a number of differences. We're going to get into the science in a later episode. We're going to go with a very basic one right now. Is a plant cell has a cell wall. An animal cell does not. The plant cell wall, its primary function is to make the plant rigid. So we have a skeleton. We've got a nice thick skin covering our body. Plants don't have that. They don't have a skeleton, they don't have bones, they don't have a skin covering them. So what ends up happening is they need something to make them strong. Where do they get that? They get it at the cellular level, and the cellular level is this wall that we talked about. It gives the cells a rectangle, square-like shape, and then when you build them up, tons and tons and millions, whatnot, that's what forms the strength of a plant overall. So you look at that and you look at the size of some of those trees, how strong they are, how big they are, and they're made up of millions, billions of cells, all with a cell wall. So that's the main difference between plants and animals. We're all alive, we need water, we need sunlight, we need to eat stuff, we need food, we need sugars. But how we get them and how our actual makeup is constructed are two different things. So, we're going to go on next. I guess I'm going to have to draw this one. What do plants provide us with? So, other than being pretty, but enough about me, what do plants provide us with? Well, I think the first one that we can all think of, right off the top, do we all know what that is? It's a carrot. Might not be a very good one, but trust me, it's a carrot. A tomato. Can you name some other foods? What did I say I had for breakfast this morning? I don't have a yellow marker, so I'm gonna have to do it in this. A banana. So, carrots, tomatoes, bananas. First thing plants provide us with are food. Every living thing on this planet needs plants to live. Even if you are gonna eat a steak, the cow ate grass. If you're gonna have a salad, all of that is veggies. So everything food-wise comes from plants. Now, can you think of some other things plants provide us with? Another one, we're gonna go back to my other drawing here. This is my favorite drawing, if you guys couldn't tell. I quite like it. You guys know what I'm drawing yet? Yeah, a tree. A tree. What does a tree provide us? A tree provides us with a couple of things. It provides us with shelter and it provides us with fuel. Now you might be wondering how that is. Well, it provides us with shelter because again, when we were talking about the cells, what is that bark made of? What is that stem or the trunk of a tree made of? Solid wood. What do we do with wood? We process it and we make building beams for our house, for our school desks, for my office desk upstairs. So many structures we have are made of wood and it provides us shelter. Chances are your house is made of wood. It provides us shelter. What else do we get from wood? Spring and summer are coming up and if you guys are anything like me, you love being outside. What do you love doing outside? What is awesome to do? That's right, I'm drawing a fire. And what's that? That's wood. Again, where does the wood come from? It comes from trees. So, the trees provide us heat, they provide us shelter. So plants provide us food, shelter, and fuel. Now, can anybody else think what plants provide us? Something that we get. We've been using plants for hundreds, if not thousands of years for medicine. And there are so many plants that we use even today that give us the medicines that we need. There's plants that can make you feel a bit sleepy if you're not having a good time sleeping. There's valerian root. There are certain plants that that'll help with if you're having problems with your kidneys or things like that. Plants provide us a massive amount of medicine and soothing, whether it's herbs and flowers and whatnot. So plants are essential for every level of life that we know it to give us comfort and support. Now, this is one of my favorites. Something else plants do that I think people know, but it's actually being proven. Plants make us happy. So they did a study a number of years ago, and what they discovered was being around plants actually made people happy. The more plants you have when you're outside in a garden or inside, I mean, I am lucky, this is where I get to work. I also have plants in my house. I counted yesterday, I have 43 houseplants. Might be a little much for some, but I quite like them. But plants make us happy. They actually elevate our moods. It's been proven plants help with stress, they help with anxiety, they help with depression, they help elevate all those moods. And even if you're not suffering from any of those moods, they can just make you feel better. When you come in and you see these nice soft greens and the bright other colors that plants have got, and flowers, or on a hot sunny day, who doesn't like lying in the shade of a tree? So the plants make us happy, no plants make us sad. Well, they make me sad. But yeah, that's been proven how much plants can help each and every one of us. And the other great thing about plants, like I keep going to this little one here, is at a time like this, there's no need to socially distance from a plant like this. If this plant is growing in my house, yeah, you know what? I can work with it, I can water it, I can prune it, I can talk to it. There's something else that's interesting. Did you know that it's actually, again, scientifically proven, plants do respond to being talked to. They respond to soothing music. They actually respond, they have a reaction. When somebody talks to that plant, encourages it, checks it out, it's been proven that a plant reacts positively to that kind of thing. So not only does it allow us to have something to interact with, not only does it elevate our mood with its colors and everything else, we also give back to the plant. So, as much as I could say plants make us happy, no plants make us sad, we make plants happy. You know what? There we go. We just made that plant happy. Talking to him, giving him water, giving him food, giving him everything he needs. There we go. We got a happy little plant going there. So now, another thing, and this is one of the last things we're going to do today. Again, this is just an overview on plants. We will be touching base on more of this later. Plants purify the air. Outside or inside, plants purify the air. So there's bad gases out there. We've all heard of them. Gross gases, main one being carbon dioxide. So carbon dioxide comes out, and it's not a good gas. A lot of you will have carbon dioxide detectors in your houses because it can be poisonous in big levels. So, what do we have? Well, again, we've got our wonderful tree, and our wonderful tree and every other plant breathes in those gases. And do you know what it turns them into? Turns them into beautiful, clean oxygen. So what actually plants do for us as well is they provide us oxygen. They pull the carbon dioxide in. And like we breathe in oxygen, we also breathe out carbon dioxide. A plant breathes carbon dioxide in and puts oxygen out. So again, another idea of our relationship between plants, we're each giving each other what they need. They help take impurities out the air, and it's actually been found again. Plants in your house, just a little house plant, ones like this, can actually make your air cleaner and more breathable in a house. So outside or inside, plants are pretty darn incredible. They do a lot, they're very basic, and you know what? They're not that hard to care for. We're going to get into that. If you guys have any questions about how to care for a plant, let us know. You can send us messages, you can email us, you can DM us on social media. We'll be answering, like I said, we'll be answering them all on Friday. But I hope this gives you guys a couple of things. I hope it gives you an understanding into what exactly is a plant when we talk about plants. And I hope it lets you see how incredible I am at art. These drawings just come naturally to me. I draw them that quick, and yeah, I'm just that good at it. So I hope you guys had fun following along. These videos will be posted to our social media, and they will also at the end of the week all be going up on our blog on our website. So thanks for following along, guys, and then keep an eye out on social media. Our schedule will be posted. I believe tomorrow we are going to examine the roots of a plant in more detail, exactly what they do and how they help with stability and uptaking nutrients. You guys have a magnificent Monday, and we'll see you guys tomorrow, okay? Bye, everyone.